May is Skin Cancer Awareness Month, and with Idaho averaging over 200 sunny days a year, it's a crucial time to talk about protection and prevention. So today we're joined by surgical oncologist Dr. Leah Stockton to break down the signs, the symptoms, and simple steps that we can all take to keep ourselves and our families safe in the sun. So great to have you here, Dr. Stockton.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so first of all, let's just state the obvious. What is skin cancer?
So skin cancer is very simply, it's a cancer of the skin. There's multiple different types, but the most common ones are basal cell, squamous cell, and melanoma. These differ just based on the type of cells that this cancer originates from within the outer layers of your skin.
Okay, all right. So what are some of the signs and symptoms then of skin cancer? Does it vary based on type?
It does. Okay. So basal cells tend to look like sort of little pearls or have a waxy appearance to them. Squamous cells tend to be a little bit red or crusty, and then melanomas tend to be darker pigmented lesions that can be changing in size or character. Okay. We actually talk about the ABCDEs of melanoma, so something to look for. A standing for asymmetry, meaning one side of a mole looks different than the other. B is for border, so border irregularities. C is color, so if it's got multiple different colors within a mole, that's concerning.
Oh.
D is diameter. Anything over 6 millimeters is a little bit more concerning. And then E is evolution. Is the mole changing at all? Is it getting bigger? Is it getting smaller? Is it changing color? All of those would be warning signs for a potential melanoma.
Okay, so the ABCDEs.
Correct.
All right, so pay attention.
Yes.
All the beautiful little angel kisses, I think my grandmother used to call them, on my arm, right? Your freckles,
yes.
Your moles, everything. Okay, so when it comes to skin cancer, though, are there risk factors that might elevate your potential for developing?
There are. Obviously, the biggest risk factor, UV exposure. So either from the sun or from artificial sources like tanning salons, sun lamps, things like that. That's going to be your biggest risk factor. Fair skin. Those of us that have lighter hair, fairer skin, blue eyes, all tend to have a higher risk.
Okay.
Family history, so if you have a family member who had melanoma or other skin cancers, you're going to be at higher risk as well. Those with weakened immune systems tend to be at higher risk.
How does skin cancer actually affect, though, Idahoans differently than other states?
So, we like to be outside.
Yes, we do.
We spend a lot of time outside, and Idaho is at a higher elevation, and because of that, there's less atmosphere to filter out the UV radiation, so we actually get a higher exposure compared to other parts of the country. In fact, death from melanoma Idaho is the #1 state for death from melanoma out of all US 50 states.
No kidding.
Yeah.
I had no idea.
Yeah, and rates are actually increasing as well of new diagnosis of melanoma.
Okay, so then how do we prevent skin cancer risk?
Sunscreen, wear SPF 30 or higher if at all possible, but just remember the best sunscreen is the one that you're willing to put on and reapply.
Good point.
So any sunscreen is better than none. Long sleeves, hats, sunglasses, seek out shade when you can, or stay inside during the peak sun times of the day to avoid that UV exposure. Avoid tanning salons and the artificial sources. Yeah. And then if you do see something that looks funny or is changing or has those abnormal ABCDEs, go see your primary care doctor or your dermatologist. Get to know your moles on your body, so that way if something does start to change, you can go get it checked out and we can treat it earlier.
Okay, what should somebody do, though, if they think they have skin cancer?
First thing is, once again, seek out your primary care doctor or your dermatologist. They'll tend to do a full body skin check, and then depending on what it looks like and if it's concerning, sometimes squamous cells and basal cells can be treated right away without a biopsy. Other times, if it's more concerning or if they're worried about a melanoma, they may perform a biopsy of it.
Okay. And at what point, though, would somebody come see a specialist like you?
Yeah, so sometimes depending, especially for melanomas, depending on the stage of it, you may need to actually have your lymph nodes evaluated as well, okay, to make sure that it hasn't spread anywhere. That's when they would come see me, okay? So we perform something called a sentinel lymph node biopsy, where we actually sample the lymph nodes in that area we can send those off to the pathologist to look at and make sure that the melanoma hasn't spread. Some sometimes also moles and other lesions just aren't amenable to be biopsied or taken off in the office, and you may need a little bit more anesthesia for it for a bigger resection.
And that's when a surgical oncologist like yourself
correct
comes into the picture.
Yeah.
Dr. Stockton, where do people go to learn more?
So come visit at stalphonsus.org, and we will have a blog that lists all this information plus more information for you.